Hi, YouTube. It's been a while. Oh, boy, I've been through some stuff. Let me tell you about it. First, I'll tell you a little bit about my day today. Going into my local smoke shop, and the lady in there asked me how I was, and I said, "Oh, pretty good." And then I was like, "Well, um, so shouldn't complain." And she goes, "But I'll complain." And I said, "Hey, I got a minute." We started talking about homelessness and a few other things, and just a really nice lady. So that kind of started my grocery shopping then after that. And ran into few nice people, which is really surprising in a Walmart, if you can imagine. It was sort of busy. Um, Not a bad day, but I came out and we had a flat tire. Well, that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is this is what my video is about. God keeping us strong and the human body and the ability to heal. Um, and I know it's God's will. So I'll tell you how He kept me strong and what's been going on. First, a week ago today, Doug was putting a fluorescent light up in his, or a LED, um, one of them bar lights up in his shop, and he fell 8 feet on the concrete, onto the concrete, and the bulb broke and everything all around him, and he splatted on his back. Well, luckily he didn't smack his head, but he came out of the shop and was yelling for me. I had just gotten out of the shower and I ran out there, and it was pretty late at night, so I wasn't going to drive nowhere. Um, and the roads being icy and whatnot. And I said, "Well, call in an ambulance." Well, you don't want to do that. So um, I did the next best thing I could think of. I grabbed a sheet and I wrapped it around his torso because his back was messed up. He's disabled somewhat anyway with his back. So anyway, I proceeded to wrap him with the sheet, and then I took some tape. Luckily, we got a lot of tape around a body shop, so I wrapped it around where his right above his belt, and then went around his torso a few times. Then I started crisscrossing it and covered all the spots that I missed. And he kept that on there for a couple days. And he's just going to try and get in the shower tonight. He's been sponge bathing and stuff because he can't barely stand. But like a couple days after it happened, he tried to get into town. He got a couple things done and came home because he couldn't deal with the pain. And still been thinking about going to the doctor, but um, well, anyway, ended up sliding in the ditch. Today we get home, and our incline, we were going around our driveway because he can't get on the tractor to plow right now. So making tracks in the snow because we got a little more snow coming tomorrow. So we got stuck in our driveway. Thank God I got a flying saucer and I was able to put groceries on and get most of it up to the house. Anything that we didn't really or wouldn't freeze, we got in. I got in. He took a couple things, um, like light things, Um, but I've been getting wood in the shop every day except for today, and feeding my horse by hand because the tractor's a little big for me to run, and I've ran a M, but this is an H. It's a little bit bigger, and I could do it, but Doug says the clutch is a monster clutch, and I have sort of a bad leg, so I wouldn't want to kill myself, you know. So, but I could probably do it. But it's just like every step through the snow with snow boots on. It's like just another day. I was walking through the backyard, going in back of the shop, and I'm going through snow like about a foot of snow, and I was like, "Oh God, please give me strength," you know. And Doug says the same thing tonight. He said, "Without God, he wouldn't even be here. The strength that keeps a person's body going from, you know, like the several injuries that I had. And this is part of my message tonight, too, healing and exercising through it. Like if your right leg's broken, exercise your left one. A lot of people would think, well, then I'll be unbalanced. No, you're still keeping as much of your core alive, and the rest of you, wherever you're injured, exercise somewhere else. You know. So about 2 months ago, after my first surgery, I had Morgellons, and I broke my toes, and I broke my shoulder with a compound arm breaks. So I got through that. A couple years ago, I tried to split wood by hand, and I couldn't. The other day, I was out in the shop, and I took a chunk. I shouldn't have let it warm up. I should have split it when it was. We got a automatic splitter too, diesel powered, but just splitting it by hand, a couple chunks here and there if we needed. If it's a big chunk, I got smaller ones by the house. I don't really have to split, but out there, I thought, well, I'll split a chunk. I could dig around and look for some smaller ones, but I thought, I'll split something. So, but I let it, like I say, I let it warm up in the shop overnight. So the first smack, it was like rubber. And the second smack, I'm like, maybe I will hurt my shoulder and my arm. Maybe I'm not ready for this. But then I thought, you SOB, smack. And I got it split. I was able to put in the stove with the kindling, and anyway, got that going. But yeah, 3 years ago I couldn't have done that, and it was about 2 months ago then I was able to really start doing sit-ups again and leg lifts, and uh, working out my arms more. Because, like I say, I had gotten squished by a horse, and all through my life, I've had like spinal injuries, and all my stomach muscles pulled, and all the ligaments around it and stuff. So then I had to work out other parts of my body when I couldn't, that type of thing. But then too, with the spinal damage, geez, did my arms get strong, really strong, because I had to use them more to like pull myself around and do stuff. So yeah, even with one break on your arm, the or couple toes that were broke. God, you wouldn't believe the core strength and the balance it takes to keep your crap together. And I kept doing like yoga stretches and different types of aerobics, if I was just sitting down and going, stretching whatever, and backwards and leaning back and holding my core, whatever I could do at that time. But about 2 months ago, I intensified my workout again, because I literally used to do 1,000 sit-ups a day and exercise every other muscle on my body at least 100 times, because I was up to that amount of aerobic activity. So I knew in my older age that would serve me, if I did that to my body when I was young. When I was older, I would probably be not infallible, but be able to go through more than the average bear. And thank you, Lord. That's 2 months ago. I said, okay, I'm going to step this up, and I did. So, yeah, I was really happy and lucky I did that. Um, and it's been hard. It's been tiring, and when I wanted to make a video, but with somebody with a back injury, I pretty much was trying to do everything I could without him. The first couple days, I would have him behind me, hanging onto my shoulders, and we'd each take a step, baby steps, all the way across the um, living room, the hallway, into the bathroom, and I'd wait, and we'd go back out like a train, you know. Um, but he's been sleeping sitting up. He tried to sleep in his bed a couple times and he'd get stuck because his back hurt so bad. Last night I put a blanket on the floor by the wood stove because another time he injured his back, that wood stove kind of cooked out the pain, um, helped his muscles, but last night he still can't lay flat. So he's been literally sleeping mostly at his desk in his computer chair. He's lived the last week there. He's gotten in his lazy boy chair a couple times. One time he was stuck on the edge of it, and he's a really big guy. And I was so tired from carrying wood and literally pulling hay off a great big 900. Well, they're probably more than 900-pound bales of hay because they're really big. This guy really overstuffed them. I think some are like 12 or 1,300 pounds. Weighs more, about as much as my horse, like a ton and a half. So I got these, I cut the strings and I'll be pulling this hay off. And it's been getting hard, and my one thumb felt like it was like sprained almost from just pulling, working it. Um, Unbelievable. And the wood, that's heavy, and coming up the steps with it, that's really a bear and a half, when because the less trips you have to, if you can carry more. So talk about aerobic and weight workout. It's like, whoa. And when you're done, your heart's going like 100 miles an hour. So it's like, yeah, good thing I always kept active. God kept me strong. That really is my message of how remarkable the human body is. And I've told you this before, but like my adoptive mom used to say, you sure do hurt yourself a lot. My retort as an adult, not as a child, but my retort to a woman that would say that to me would be, well, if you don't do anything active, you're not going to hurt yourself. If you're not active, you will not, well, you'll hurt yourself more by not being active, because take, for instance, somebody that's never been active falling and breaking their hip, they end up with hip replacements because their muscles aren't strong enough to carry that and repair. So, and the only thing that repairs a bone is being still. And the more muscle mass you have around bones, the safer you really are. Especially, see, I have osteoarthritis. So the stronger I keep my body, the better off I am altogether. I can literally hold my bones up in the pain with my muscles. At night when I get tired or when I'm sleeping, then, or like even too relaxed in damp weather, like my hip or shoulder or something will be hurting me. But like the other night, I felt like I had a knot on my lat lateris. They're right underneath your arm going down. I felt like I had a lump right up there, uh, right below my shoulder bone, and so anyway, and behind my rib there. So I put my fist in a ball and put it under there and used the weight of my body. And that's what I've been doing, like with leg lifts and different things, and to keep the strength, you know, and always touching my toes and stretching upwards, and, or sitting on my bed and laying forward and like ballet. um, Touch one leg, the other, and then go forward, grab your toes with both, and put your head on your legs. And that keeps your back and your core strong. Even if you can only do it a little bit, it's better than nothing. So I am so, thank you, God, for making me keep strong, you know. So he's like, winter's coming up and you're going to be carrying wood in. You better keep limber. And I'm like, oh, yeah. You know, it's like I say, it's aside from doing yoga, balancing, and that type of thing. Um, and some of my martial artist moves, like stepping backwards, a backward step. um, or a backwards kick or a backward step kick, that type of thing. And the same with forward, you know, and side moves and different things because it just keeps you balanced. It really does. If you can look into not just yoga, but what I would recommend for anybody is judo. If you want to be strong enough to defend yourself against the world, like I've had to do, anybody, I recommend judo to anybody. And all martial arts stem from that. Every single one of them. That's the base. That's the first wrestling style ever in the world, and it's still the best because they those masters really mastered it. Oh, I just love it. I am so lucky I started doing that at 15, yoga and judo all in the same year. And uh, the first other martial art I studied was kung fu with a kid. Um, we were teaching each other till he got real salty with me, and it's like, yeah, you little bastard wanted to kill me. That's I was talking about telling Doug about playing football with some guys too, and it was supposed to be touch football and ended up tackle. And so I like just curled up in a little ball around some big dude's legs. I dove at his legs and just curled and clamped down, and he hit the ground so freaking hard. And then they all jumped on me and tried to kill me. And then after that, it was like a war. And I was like, I'd walk by and they'd just mock me and try and get me over there starting a fight. And oh, yeah, all you guys can try and pick on a girl, right? Yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to go home and get my horse, this black. And she just had a white spot right there. Her name was Spade. I thought, yeah, I'll go get Spade and we'll see how this goes, you creeps. And I come into town on Spade and there was nobody around. That was just God keeping them safe from me at that point. I wouldn't have done it, but I would have scared them. And she really didn't like people. So, yeah, I had to win her over just like the one I have right now is almost identical personality. They can really pick up on, excuse me, I dropped my cigarette. They can really pick up on people's bad vibe or good vibe, you know. So really, yeah, almost better than a dog or cat. Or although I have had attack cats that I trained like a dog, they would sit and stay and fetch and all that. So the one I have now, she barely will let anybody touch her. That's her loyalty. Like I say, she's not a super um gonna get on you and purr and rub all over you, and she's not really like that because I trained her not to be. It's like you can sit by me if you're nice because I'm allergic. But she is a working cat. She's a mouser, one of the best too. So she had a job. She's been sick too. She has a tumor on her tummy. I do believe non-malignant. It was an infection on one of her teats that it's draining, and I give her a bath several days. I've been keeping it clean every day. Another thing I had to go in and get, she's got antibiotics, and I went in to get triple antibiotic ointment for her, and she's got iodine and all kinds of different things. I've been keeping her clean with. Some days she can get wet, but she's been off. It's been sub-zero here and snowing, and she's 21, so I got to be really careful with her. So, and I used to work for a vet, so I'm used to taking care of sick animals, but like holding their food for them, and so washing her every day and all the special care and the different things and cleaning and cooking, and it's like crazy, crazy, busy, you know, just when you think you're almost going to rest and retire. And I literally started working at 9 besides garden work and whatnot all my life, So it's like, yeah, whatever. Delivering flyers and phone books that were Minneapolis. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, it says where in the Bible where two witnesses will be dead in the streets. Well, to me, not being a teenager in Minneapolis, because I was out of there at 15, the streets were dead to me, which was a really good thing that I didn't end up, like for instance, I went to school with two twins. One was, they both used to prostitute, but I went in this, well, they were like high dollar ones in a Sheridan Ritz. So I went in and got my one friend out of there, and we went in to get her sister. And so, I mean, yeah, I was out on the streets, but I wasn't bad, bad. I was more a defender. I always have been all my life. So I was in some real shady areas all my life. It's like God put me in these really like biker gangs and all kinds. Keep him innocent in hell is a freaky thing without dying. And God's kept me safe so many times. I have no words for that. Really, literally, you know, um, unbelievable. So that really is a testament and a message to the strength of a human soul and God inside you. And when He says He helps, He helps. And, you know, I always try to deny you got to go through hell to know what good is, but in some respects, um, I'm pretty sure by the time I die, I'm gonna have learned that pretty good. So yeah, and it's in a strange way, even looking at things like in a 30-year span, and I can do that over twice now. Um, the amount of things I can look back and say, well, I see why I went through that now. I absolutely know why I had to go through that. Some things I'm still wondering though. You know where I'm coming from. It doesn't mean that I have hate or anger or anything else. I know there probably is a reason. I just don't flip and see it right now. That type of feeling. But I am a woman of faith. I always have been. You know. So. Mm. I don't know how people can look at their eyes. Just no, they're so remarkable. How can you look with your eyes and see things, and think there is no God? How remarkable of an instrument is just your eye lens, just, the whole makeup of it. How remarkable is it film or pictures or everything that is God's energy and the thought that He put in mankind, the tools we have, the builders, architects, cooks, nurses, everything, mechanics, carpenters, whatever a person does, teaching, um, whatever they do, musician, whatever, that actually comes from God. They can say, well, that Satan can put you in a position. Yes, he can, you know, but anything that you have that's an actual gift actually comes from God, no matter where you could be placed. And there's a few that I'd like to tell them where they could go, but that God's going to take care of that too. Oh, here's a really cool thing. That's okay. So we had just gotten home, got the car stuck. I was happy I had my flying saucer. I put one of my horse's ropes on there to pull it around. It'll never, um, it'll last lifetimes. That rope. It's just a lead rope, a black and white lead rope for a horse. I got a quite a few. Um, well, anyway, so got all the groceries up and whatever. And one of our customers came to the door, and I recognized his voice, and I had seen him out the window, but I had never actually met him. So I was putting stuff away and made a little bit of coffee, and he was talking to Doug. And I turned around and I asked Doug, or I didn't turn around. I said to Doug, as I'm turning around, do you mind introducing me or introducing us? And he said, "Oh, I thought you knew Chuck." And no, um, and then we shook hands. And before he left, well, he said, "Oh," I said, "have nice holidays. Tell your wife too," because she was out in the car waiting. And he said, "Have nice holidays," and he said, "Lord bless you." I said, I was really surprised because I hardly ever hear that out of anybody. And I said, "God bless you," you know? And he looked at me like, well, because I'm so used to saying it to people. But to know that one of our customers, and no wonder he's such a nice guy, he really is too. And he kind of wants, see, it's the second vehicle that we've done of his up here. And it's a 56 panel Dodge panel, I do believe. Well, anyway, it's in the shop, and that's why he's putting the light up to work on that, and that's why I got to keep the shop warm because we're always going to get some LP in there, but haven't yet. But it's got the wood heat to keep the materials from freezing. Well, tomorrow's going to be 30 degrees, and I got it. It was about 40 degrees in there when I closed the door this afternoon. So tomorrow morning it'll still be above freezing. So if I get a fire going, then it'll warm it up enough to keep the materials from going bad. So um, yeah, but he was so nice, just nice that he was worried about Doug. He thought he could be in the hospital or something. I mean, like, how psychic is that? You know, he was up in the area. He's from the cities. They go to the casino I used to work at. They go up there often, not maybe to gamble, but they have a really beautiful restaurants and cafe and like a quick type place and a couple different bars and hair salons and like 3, 4 hotels and a movie theater, all this Grand Casino stuff. Well, so they go up there to, and it is a really nice place to spend the day, you know, bigger than malls or as big as malls and that type of thing. And just a lot of fun. Oh, game room. We used to take the kids up to the game room. And then Doug and I would mostly really like the air hockey. Um, and I liked the skiing or the motorcycles, you know, that type of thing. And there was one that was like a galactic thing. It was like a theater, and you could go in and battle like great big ships and that type of thing, you know, as a group. And so, yeah, it was a really cool game room. So cool. Buying tokens for it and tickets and stuffed animals and slushies and stuff for the kids. So, you know, it was fun. Yeah. I still can't believe that they hired a felon and abuser, and he was working in the game room right out. They hired him as a security guard right outside of a Kids Quest daycare and the game room there. Oh, I raised hell. I called the cops. I was just like, this dude just got incarcerated for this and he will be going down, and he was told he couldn't work around kids, you know. And it's like, well, I was hot, smoking hot. In fact, I wasn't yelling like a maniac. I was talking very clear and loudly to a very large group of people, telling them who he was and to take your kids away from this person. I said, if you got kids around here, you might want to watch them right now. So, because I knew this firsthand, you know. So, but well, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be tying off where my horse's bales are, so she can just eat off of one instead, and that will take some of the pain out of my day and the work. So wish, because I want to do some baking for Christmas. So so wish me luck. I love you all. Thank you again. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.